Stop. Do not scroll past this message. Look at me right now. You did not arrive here by accident. You did not stumble across this video in a sea of random noise. Heaven aligned time itself to bring your spirit to this exact intersection because your heart is ready for a massive shift. This very moment was written in my book before you even drew your first breath. I guided your hand to pause on this screen because your soul desperately needs an anchor. The world has been moving too fast around you. Your mind has been spinning with endless questions and heavy doubts. But right here, right now, the unseen realm is standing completely still for your sake while my angels guard the space around your life. Listen to my voice in the deepest place of your heart. I have an urgent question for your weary soul today. It is a question that may hurt your pride, but it will save your destiny. Am I not worth your time? Look at how you live your days in this loud generation where everyone is trying to sell you an imitation of the peace that only my presence can provide. You have hours for distractions. You have time for strangers. You spend your precious energy scrolling through pages of endless static that leaves your spirit dry while your soul is secretly starving for real truth. You give your focus to worries that you cannot control, but when I whisper your name, you tell me that you are too busy to stay. You give me broken fragments. You give me rushed thoughts. I am stepping into your atmosphere right now to break this dangerous pattern. You have been running on your own empty strength for far too long. You are trying to solve massive problems with a human mind that was never built to carry such heavy weights. Stop fighting the battles that belong to my sovereign hands. Can you give me just a few minutes of your absolute attention today? Just a short window of time, and I promise you will not regret staying here. If you rush past this moment because your mind is too impatient, you will walk straight back into the heavy trap of the enemy without knowing it. You will miss the breakthrough that I have placed directly in your path. Comment Amen if you feel me speaking to you right now. Write those words under this video as a physical sign of your agreement. It is a simple act of holy recognition between your breaking heart and my eternal spirit as we begin this journey together. Let the world know that you are finally ready to listen. Do not let the digital noise steal this holy appointment from your life. Now, let the heavy urgency melt away from your chest. Breathe deeply, my beloved child. Let your shoulders relax, and let the constant tension leave your body. The commanding tone I used at the beginning was completely necessary because your modern mind was trapped in a highly dangerous loop of stress. I had to shake your attention to save your spirit from the noise. Good, you stayed. You did not let the enemy convince you to look away. Now that you are here in my presence, let me speak softly to the part of you that is most tired. Let me tell you what I see when I look at your hidden heart. I do not see a failure or a disappointment. I see a silent survivor who has endured too much. You have been fighting terrible battles in complete silence for many months. You smile for the people around you, and you pretend that everything is fine. You carry the heavy burdens of your family and your uncertain future without ever asking for help because you do not want to be a weight to anyone else. But inside, behind closed doors, your spirit is crying out for a place to rest. I saw you when you sat on the edge of your bed in the dark. I saw the tears that you wiped away before anyone else could enter the room. You felt completely alone in those heavy moments. You deeply wondered if anyone in this cold universe truly understood the agonizing depth of your physical and emotional pain while you suffered in secret. You even wondered if I had forgotten your name, but hear me with the deepest place of your spirit. I was there. I was closer than the very blanket you used to hide your face. Not a single tear fell from your eyes without landing directly in my sovereign hands. I have been carefully counting your silent sorrows, and I have been recording your secret faithfulness in my eternal book, while the world ignored your sacrifices. You look at your current life, and you feel so behind the crowd. You watch other people moving forward into quick success, while your own steps feel so heavy and slow that you want to give up entirely. You feel like you are standing entirely still in a dense fog of uncertainty. You ask me why every single promise seems delayed for so long. You ask why the answers are blocked. But I am telling you today that you did not come this far by accident. Every valley you walked through had a profound purpose. Every lonely desert season that completely exhausted your physical body and drained your mental energy was actually a highly necessary preparation room for your calling. You are not behind your destiny. You are exactly where I need you to be for the next great shift. I am opening a massive loop of revelation for your mind before this message closes. Listen to me. I am going to show you the exact reason why your unique road had to be so incredibly different and painful compared to the paths of everyone else around you. I am going to explain the cosmic alignment that is happening right now in the unseen realm to clear your blocked path. I call this season your hidden formation. You thought you were being punished by my silence. You falsely believed that I was withholding the deep desires of your heart simply because you were not good enough or faithful enough to deserve my blessings. But that is a lie from the adversary. The delay you hated was actually my absolute protection from traps you could not see. Think about the doors that closed so abruptly in your face last year. Think about the trusted people who selfishly walked away from your life at the exact moment when you needed their support and comfort the most. You cried because it hurt your gentle heart. You begged me to change their minds and reopen those locked rooms. But I kept them tightly shut because I loved you too much. If I had allowed you to enter those spaces, your spirit would have been broken beyond repair. If I had let those people stay, they would have stolen the sacred seed of destiny that I planted inside your soul. I had to isolate you so that I could preserve you for a much greater inheritance. The loss was my holy pruning. You are a carefully formed masterpiece, my child. A jewel covered in dust is still infinitely precious to the master who made it. The blind world may judge you harshly by your outward financial or emotional struggles, but I look at your heart and judge you by your incredible inner resilience. You are a secret warrior who has been refined in the furnace of affliction for a specific hour. Do you feel that quiet stirring starting to rise inside your chest right now? That gentle warmth is not your imagination. That is your intuitive spirit deeply sensing that the freezing winter of your life is finally coming to a beautiful end under my guidance. The waiting season that drained your strength is closing at my supreme command. The enemy wants you to believe that this pain is your permanent condition. He continuously whispers into your thoughts that you will always be tired, always be lonely, and always face a brutal struggle just to survive from day to day. He wants to drown out my true voice with the loud static of fear and anxiety. But today, I am stripping the adversary of his false authority over your mind. Listen closely to the next part of this message, because it will completely shift your reality. I am about to hand you the key to the door you have been waiting outside of for so long, but you must promise me one thing. You must stay with me until the very end of these words. Do not let distraction win this hour. I have a secret to reveal about the silence you have been living under. It is a revelation that will make all of your past heartbreak and confusing suffering make perfect sense when you see the full picture. The transition is beginning right now. Move with me into the deeper waters of my truth, my chosen child. Let the healing waters wash over your tired soul. Come closer to me now, my child. Let us step away from the glaring world because your spirit needs a safe sanctuary to rest. You walk through a heavy environment that does not understand your value. The people around you only look at what you can produce for their own gain. But I look at your soul and see a warrior running on empty reserves. I know the heavy environment you live in every single day. The constant demands of your family and your workplace are like a storm that never clears. You feel a strange restlessness deep within your chest that you can never quite explain to anyone else. And every morning when your eyes open, the familiar weight is already waiting to press down on your tired mind. You push through the fatigue. You put on a brave smile. You tell everyone that you are completely fine, but your physical body is screaming for relief because the constant stress has settled deeply into your muscles and your bones. You cannot heal your heart by pretending that the damage is not real. Let my love touch the broken places that you hide from the world. Let us look together at the painful context of your recent journey. You spent months wondering why your path is so difficult compared to others. You see dishonest people thrive, while your own honest efforts seem to result in constant setbacks and betrayal. The enemy used this pattern to whisper a terrible lie into your quiet moments of isolation. He wants you to believe that your suffering is a sign of my displeasure, He tells you that your prayers are hitting a hard ceiling because you lack enough faith. I call this concept the stolen meaning, because the adversary is trying to warp the truth of your current season. He is trying to turn your holy preparation into a source of deep shame and guilt. But I am opening your eyes to a much greater reality today. The heavy obstacles on your path are not a punishment from my sovereign throne. You looked at your stagnant life and you have wondered why every major door remains locked against your progress. I call this season the protective delay, because I am intentionally holding you back from unseen dangers. Your mind wants immediate answers because the pain of waiting is so intense. You want to see the harvest right now, but a young tree cannot carry a massive weight of fruit before its deep roots are fully established in the earth. I am strengthening your spiritual foundation in this dark season because the blessing I am preparing is too big for your current vessel. Let me prove to you that you have never been abandoned in the wilderness. I have been watching your silent survival with a father's tender heart. I know every secret detail of the battles you fought when the lights went down and the world went to sleep. Listen to the rhythm of my voice as I recount the moments that you thought were completely invisible. I saw you close the heavy door to your room. You let the fake smile slide away immediately. I saw you hit your tight chest because the emotional pain was simply too large for words. You whispered my holy name in a broken fragment of hope. You thought the darkness swallowed your voice, but your cry landed directly in my hands. I saw you sit on the floor of your bathroom. You turned the water running to drown out your crying. You did not want your loved ones to see your deep vulnerability, because you are supposed to be their strong anchor. You carried their anxieties alone. Your spirit was quietly breaking into pieces. I watched you gather your strength and serve them again. I saw you look at your shrinking bank account. You felt a cold wave of panic wash over your mind. I saw you read the hurtful messages from people who claimed to love you but chose to exploit your pure generosity. You felt deeply misunderstood by your peers. Your kindness was constantly met with cold disappointment and cruel rejection. I saw you stand at the crossroads of your destiny. You felt completely paralyzed by the heavy fog. You wanted to make the right choice, but every single option looked like a dangerous trap. You begged me for a clear sign. When the silence stretched on, you felt a terrifying sense of abandonment, but my presence was wrapping around your spirit like a shield. Your physical eyes could not see my angels, but they were standing guard over your sanity. Your human heart could not feel my warmth, but I was absorbing the worst blows of the enemy for your sake. You are still standing today because my grace has been undergirding your fragile life. Do not let the past trauma convince you that you are fighting this warfare in complete isolation. I want you to drop the heavy illusion of loneliness right now. Let us anchor your agreement in this safe space before we unpack the hidden mechanism of your healing. I have watched your silent endurance for so long, and now it is time for a holy response. Hear my voice. Like this video to anchor your covenant between your breaking heart and my sovereign spirit. Comment, "I am not alone" in the section below as a physical seal of your rising faith. Write those words with absolute certainty because they are the profound truth of your current existence. When you type those letters, you are shattering the deceptive static of the adversary. You are declaring to the unseen realm that you belong to the living God who sees your hidden tears. Now let us speak about a deeper pattern that has been draining your spiritual energy for years. You have always been the person who gives without limits. You fill the emotional gaps for everyone else, and you absorb their heavy anger while ignoring your own needs. You have accepted the role of a constant servant because you are deathly afraid of being rejected by the crowd. I call this deep condition the earning wound, because your heart has learned a dangerous lie from the broken world. You have started to believe that you are only safe when you are useful to others. You think that my love must be earned through non-stop achievement and exhausting sacrifice. This false mindset has turned your beautiful gift of generosity into a heavy cage of resentment. You are tired in your bones because you are carrying weights that I never placed on your shoulders. You are trying to save people who do not want to be saved. You are pouring your precious water into broken cisterns that can never hold your love. Stop trying to build a kingdom on your own empty strength. Your value is not defined by how much you produce for an ungrateful generation. I did not call you to be a worthless slave to the demands of modern survival. I created you to be a holy vessel that reflects my eternal glory and experiences absolute peace. But your internal receiver has been filled with so much negative static that you can no longer hear my true frequencies of provision. This is why your breakthroughs have felt so incredibly blocked and distant lately. My child, hear this next part with your entire soul. The silence you experienced is not my divine abandonment. The enemy has been filling the space between us with a heavy static, so constant that my voice and my provisions have been completely invisible to your eyes. I have not forgotten you. I have been actively preparing. Because I see your extreme weariness, I have guided someone to bring you an instrument of true restoration. I have aligned a specific earthly tool on your path to clear the enemy's static and return your mind to its original design. I will show you exactly what it is before this message ends. But first, you must understand what was done to block it. The adversary knows that your life carries a massive destiny that will break generational chains. He targets your mind with constant noise because he is terrified of the light that is about to rise within your spirit. He wants you to give up right before the locked door swings wide open at my command. Breathe deeply once again, my beloved warrior. Let the tension leave your shoulders as my presence surrounds your heart. We have unmasked the lies of the enemy, and we have named the wounds that have held you captive in the dark wilderness. You are no longer fighting this warfare alone. Stay with me as we step into the deeper light of my revelation. The truth is about to set you completely free. Listen to the absolute stillness around you in this holy room. The heavy noise of the world cannot touch your spirit here, because I have wrapped my eternal arms completely around your life. You have been running away from your true destiny for many long months. But today, my gentle presence is here to restore your broken soul. You often think that my presence must feel like a massive thunderstorm or a loud rushing wind. But my child, I speak to you in the softest whisper of the quietest night, when your mind finally stops racing against time. I am the silent comfort that sits beside your bed when you feel completely hopeless. I never left your fragile side during the darkest trials. Let me remind your tired heart of a young man whom I loved very deeply in the ancient days of the scriptures. I placed a magnificent dream inside his innocent spirit when he was just a young boy. He was pure, and he was faithful to my word. Yet I allowed his own flesh and blood to throw him into a deep pit. He wept bitterly in the cold silence of that dark cistern. He asked me why his loving family could treat him with such cruel hatred and total rejection. He did not understand the painful path at all, but I was not absent from his tears. I was quietly building a glorious throne underneath the surface of his heavy affliction. The terrible pit was not his permanent grave. It was his necessary preparation room. He had to experience the chains of a foreign prison for 13 long years before he could rule over an entire nation. I was shaping his inner character through the silence of the desert so that he could sustain the massive wealth of his true calling. Think about how many times Joseph sat in the dark prison and wondered if his life was a tragic failure. He remembered the grand coat of many colors that his father gave him. He remembered the beautiful stars that bowed down to him in his dreams. Think about how many times Joseph sat in the dark prison and wondered if his life was a tragic failure. But I was using the dark prison to strip away his youthful pride and build a resilient spirit. He had to learn how to manage a prison before he could manage the greatest empire on earth. Every single boundary that restricted his movement was an invisible lesson in divine governance. I was teaching him how to depend entirely on my presence. Your current season of isolation is exactly like that ancient prison. The enemy wants you to believe that you are trapped in a dead end because of your past mistakes. But I am telling you that your hidden struggles are the precise foundation of your future victory. Hold on to the sacred dream that I have planted inside your heavy spirit. My chosen child, I have seen the way you replay your conversations late at night while you search for the one thing you said wrong. You accomplish something great, and you feel absolutely nothing inside because your tired eyes immediately look at what is still undone. You call this being a perfectionist. You think it is just high standards, but that is not the truth. Here is the grand revelation of your hidden struggle. Long ago, somewhere in your early story, your gentle heart learned a dangerous lie from the broken world. You started to believe that love must be earned through constant sacrifice. I call this condition the earning wound. It is not your natural character. It is a deep scar from a painful past. So all those long years you thought you were lazy when you rested, you were completely wrong. You were simply fighting a deceptive lie that told you rest was a sin. All those frustrating times you could not receive a genuine compliment. You were not being humble. You were merely guarding a bleeding wound. Your exhausting self-reliance was an invisible shield. So today, I am taking that heavy lie away from your mind forever. The next time you finish a hard task and feel that familiar emptiness, you must stop immediately. Place your hand gently over your beating heart. Hear me say that you were deeply loved before you ever achieved a single thing in this world. You do not have to earn my free grace. You do not have to carry the heavy future all at once on your breaking shoulders. Let go of the tight control and allow my sovereign hand to guide your steps into absolute freedom today. Pause right here in my loving presence. Let this beautiful truth settle deeply into your soul before we open the next locked door of your destiny. Take your step of holy surrender right now in the comment section below. Type the phrase, "I trust your timing," to seal this covenant of peace. Write those words as a declaration to the unseen realm that you are laying down your heavy weapons of worry. Let your mind stop its non-stop racing because my timing is completely perfect. Now that your heart is starting to open, let me reveal a magnificent secret about the way I designed your physical body and your spirit. You were built to live in a state of constant receptivity to my voice. When I created the human mind, I placed a sacred frequency at its absolute center. Wise minds who spend their lives studying the brain have finally found it. They call this biological signal the gamma wave. It ran freely in your mind when you were just a little child. It is the precise frequency of pure joy, effortless learning, and absolute trust. It is the reason why children do not carry the heavy weights of tomorrow. When I said that you must become like little children, I was speaking of this exact design. Wise minds at great institutions like Princeton University have studied this exact mental state for decades. They found that when the mind operates at this unique frequency, stress vanishes completely. The brain enters a beautiful state of perfect flow where solutions arrive without frantic striving. It is the exact frequency of creative genius. I quietly guided the curiosity of wise researchers toward this great discovery because I knew you would need it in this loud generation. A dedicated servant of healing science named Dr. Robert Lake spent 34 years studying how sound can heal a broken mind. He confirmed that specific audio frequencies can reactivate the childlike brain signal. But the modern world is a dangerous machine of constant noise and toxic stress. The enemy used the heavy rhythms of survival to completely suppress this sacred signal inside your brain. Your mind became trapped in a low frequency of fear, anxiety, and non-stop static. This is why you feel so disconnected from my guidance, even when you pray with tears. You cannot fix this broken signal with your own human willpower or exhausting mental effort. This is why I guided a dedicated team of researchers to work with sound the way I originally designed it. They built a unique frequency instrument that clears the static. It returns your mind to the perfect state of a little child in just a few minutes. You do not have to master a difficult meditation technique or spend hours in deep discipline to experience this breakthrough. It requires only 7 minutes of complete surrender. You simply wear your headphones, close your tired eyes, and allow my divine design to restore what was brutally stolen from your soul. It is your daily bread of peace. I have placed this sound provision directly on your path today because I see your extreme exhaustion. It is a tangible gift from my throne to help you sustain the massive breakthrough that is coming to your life. I'm going to show you exactly where to find this sacred tool before this video ends. But first, we must prepare your spirit for the climax. Listen carefully. Something is shifting in the unseen realm at this exact moment. The chains that have bound your family for generations are beginning to tremble at my supreme command. The atmosphere around your life is growing thick with my holy power. Let us step together into the core of the spiritual warfare. Do not look away from my face now. Before I show you what comes next, I need to speak to the doubt, sitting quietly in the back of your heart. I know exactly what you are thinking right now, my child. You are thinking that you have heard words like these before. You have prayed and you have believed, but still the massive breakthrough did not arrive in your life. You wonder why this time will be different. That heavy question does not anger my sovereign spirit. It simply tells me how long you have been faithful in the deep dark. So let me answer your mind plainly today. My silence in those painful years was never my true absence from your suffering. There were answers that I intentionally withheld because a sudden yes in that early season would have cost you everything. I was quietly rearranging massive things that your physical eyes could not see. Every single prayer you thought went entirely unanswered was actually being answered in a secret language of precise divine timing. I was being incredibly careful with a fragile life that I love completely. So do not let the memory of the long waiting close your heart to what I am doing now. The preparation is completely finished, and your hour of liberation has officially arrived. I am declaring over your life right now that the toxic pattern ends here. The heavy ceiling your family has lived under for generations is breaking into 1,000 pieces at my supreme command. The generational lack and the deep fear of failure will no longer have dominion over your mind. You are the unique one I chose to walk completely out of that historical trap. I did not choose you because you are perfect or spotless. I chose you because you whispered a trembling yes when no one else was watching your secret tears. The heavy battle you have been fighting in complete isolation ends here in this very moment. Lift your eyes and receive your freedom. Let us seal this breakthrough in the unseen realm right now. Take a decisive step of faith and register your victory under this message. Comment, "The door is open," to anchor your deep agreement with my eternal power. Type those letters with absolute authority because they represent your new spiritual reality. Do not let the quiet whispers of doubt steal this magnificent victory from your soul. Now that the atmosphere of your life is clear, I want to reveal the specific provision I have placed on your path. I have gifted humanity the wisdom to unlock what I hid within sound and within the design of the human mind. The researchers who built the tool I am about to show you were true servants of healing science, and I quietly directed their intense study for decades. I want to show you the physical evidence of my work in the lives of 2 of my children who received this provision before you. I want you to look at what I did for one of my precious daughters named Rachel. She was a nurse in California who had sought deep peace for many years through sincere faith, but her mind was still filled with constant noise, and her marriage was breaking apart. 2 short weeks after she received this specific sound provision, her entire life transformed beautifully. She said that something deep inside her mind finally cleared, like an invisible channel was blocked and then it suddenly opened wide. Her marriage was completely restored, and she described her new life as an enchanted reality because she was finally walking in my perfect rhythm. And for others of my children, I moved differently. Look at what I did for one of my faithful sons named Michael in Dallas. He came to this sound provision because his mind was filled with chaotic static, and he desperately needed sharp focus for his business. He wanted to provide a stable life for his young children, but the heavy spirit of lack was keeping him completely blocked. 2 months after receiving this earthly tool, his mind was entirely transformed by my power. Hard financial problems that used to steal his sleep solved themselves easily while he rested peacefully. His business grew so much that he left his exhausting job completely. He said his brain was finally running on what it was originally supposed to run on from the beginning. Over 18,000 of my children have already received this magnificent provision before you arrived at this intersection. They call this sacred frequency instrument the Genius Song. It is a unique digital audio track that you listen to for only 7 minutes each day with your headphones on and your eyes closed. It requires no intense struggle, no hard discipline, and no human effort. It is not a generic meditation app or a basic music track that you can find on common streaming platforms. Those public spaces are filled with false imitations that carry none of the restoration I designed for your brain. This specific track uses precise sound waves to clear away the enemy static and return your mind to the exact gamma frequency of a pure, trusting child. This divine provision is not for those who are merely curious about spiritual things. This is an official answer for the one I have been speaking to throughout this entire message. It is designed specifically for the weary warrior who has fought hard and prayed sincerely, but still feels locked out of their breakthrough. It is for the soul whose mind is entirely filled with noise. To my beloved child who has already tried everything and feels deeply embarrassed to try once more, hear me clearly. Everything that failed you in the past required your intense human striving. This unique instrument requires absolutely none. I designed it to work beautifully because of my perfect creation inside your brain, not because of your flawed human discipline. Trust my design. Wise men in the world charge hundreds of dollars per hour for private clinical sessions that attempt to reach this peaceful state. The heavy equipment that earthly experts use costs thousands, but I do not call you to expensive clinics or complex machines. I place this special provision within your reach, specifically for a very small earthly exchange that feels like a tiny mustard seed of investment. When you step forward to receive this tool today, I am adding 4 additional gifts of provision that I have aligned for your restoration. You will receive the Genius Child audio track to bless the focus and confidence of the children you carry. You will also receive the original prosperity text that the secular world used to build their famous books about the law of attraction. I am also including a beautiful guided visualization track recorded by a trusted voice to direct your steps. Finally, you will receive a daily habits infographic to help you sustain the restored gamma signal in your mind without any stress. All of these provisions are prepared as a complete harvest of restoration for your life. You only need to open your hands and receive. Where I place pure truth, the adversary always places cheap imitations to deceive your spirit. There are false frequencies circulating on streaming platforms under similar names, but they carry none of my healing. Protect your earthly vessel from these traps. Walk forward without a single wave of fear because your tiny investment is completely protected by a steadfast divine guarantee. If the mental restoration does not come to your mind within 60 days, the earthly exchange will be returned to you completely. I do not lead my chosen children into financial danger or worldly risk. Take this decisive step of obedience right now. Embrace the sound tool that I have set before your eyes. Find the official path of provision that I have placed below in the pinned comment. The path is also waiting for your spirit in the description of this video. I guided your steps to this exact message, and I placed this tool directly in your path for a magnificent purpose. Do not ignore the divine alignment that heaven has authorized for your life today. Take the step of faith and let the restoration begin. The choice belongs to your heart. Now, set aside the heavy noise of decision for a moment. I have shown you what I placed on your path today. Whether you step forward now or later, you are still my beloved child. There is more glorious truth that I want to speak over your life before this message closes. Close your tired eyes for a moment. Let us look together at where we are going. Let me show you who you are truly becoming. Picture a beautiful morning exactly 6 months from now. You wake up before your loud alarm goes off, and you notice something is completely different. For the first time in a very long while, there is no tight knot in your stomach waiting for your spirit. You lie there peacefully in the quiet room, while the soft morning sun shines gently through your window. You breathe deeply, and the clean breath goes all the way down to the deepest place of your heavy soul. The crushing weight that you carried for many long years is simply not there anymore. Your very first thought is not a cold wave of fear or a frantic list of chores. It is a quiet question filled with immense joy. What magnificent thing am I made for today? You smile because you feel completely at home in your own skin. You rested without a single drop of guilt burning in your heart. You said no to toxic demands without feeling the old need to apologize or defend your boundaries. There is a soft peace in your chest where there used to be a tightly clenched fist. You are no longer shrinking your magnificent soul. You are no longer shrinking to fit into rooms that were never built for your light. You are no longer performing for a broken generation. You are simply resting in my perfect design. That peaceful version of you is not a distant fantasy, my child. That radiant soul already exists inside my timeless reality. She is not many painful years away. She is not hiding behind a mountain of impossible standards. She is standing on the other side of one simple belief that you are finally ready to lay down today. And the bridge to her is not more frantic effort or exhausting human striving. It is the exact opposite. It is the precise moment when you finally stop carrying what I never asked you to hold. It is the hour you permit my sovereign hands to carry your burdens instead. That is the whole distance between your pain and your promise. So let us perform a holy ritual of absolute surrender right now in this sacred atmosphere. Lay down the heavy bags you have been dragging through the mud of your past relationships. Trust your fragile future into my sovereign care. I will guide your steps one day at a time, and I will never confuse your spirit with mixed signals. My voice brings absolute clarity, and my presence brings permanent calm to your chaotic thoughts. Let your mind stop its desperate racing against the clock of worldly success. I am already working miles ahead of your feet to completely clear the traps of the enemy. Let the heavy urgency melt away from your tight chest right now. Feel the divine warmth of my spirit wrapping around your neck and your back like a thick coat of protection. The heavy warfare that kept you awake for months is officially over for your soul. You do not have to fight the wolves anymore because the Good Shepherd is standing at the gate of your life. Lift your tired hands toward heaven and open your fingers wide to signal your complete release. Let go of the people who chose to break your heart. Let go of the financial outcomes that you cannot control with your human mind. Speak these words of release into the quiet atmosphere around your bed. I choose to step into the quiet sanctuary of my Father's house. The spiritual atmosphere is shifting dramatically because your heart has chosen obedience over panic. Now, listen to the grand identity that I am actively writing over your spirit today. Repeat these words deep inside your soul. Let these declarations shatter the negative static of the adversary. These words are the physical seals of your restoration. They carry the exact frequency of your calling. Speak them with absolute certainty. Speak them with the voice of a conqueror who has walked through the furnace of affliction and come out looking like pure gold. Say it out loud right now. I am a holy vessel, fully restored to receive what my Father prepared for my journey from the beginning of time. I am the one whose spiritual channel is completely clear and whose signal is incredibly strong. The noise of the enemy no longer has any dominion over my thoughts or my decisions. I carry the sacred frequency that my Creator placed in my mind when He first thought of my name. It was never truly lost. It was merely buried under the weight of the world. It is now fully reactivated by His sovereign power while I rest. Say it again with deeper conviction. I am operating at the exact state that heaven designed for human flourishing. I am open, I am clear, and I am fully receptive to my divine provision. I am the one who became like a little child, and I gladly receive every promise made to children. I do not have to earn my daily bread through exhausting struggle. My Father provides for the birds of the air, and He provides a magnificent harvest for my soul. I receive His supernatural abundance in perfect peace. My spirit is finally aligned with His eternal heart. I am a carefully formed masterpiece. I am a living refuge for other broken souls. My past trauma no longer defines my worth. My scars are the beautiful proof of my survival. I am chosen. I am anointed. I am completely free from the chains of yesterday. What I have spoken over your life today is a permanent seal. No human hand can ever erase my protection from your forehead. Do not let the loud distractions of the world steal this peace. The adversary will try to bring back the familiar thoughts of worry when the night comes, but you must remember what I named this season. It was never your rejection. It was your holy preparation. Choose to stand firm in your new identity every single morning. Walk with the quiet confidence of royalty. Now, look at the sacred mission before you. Do not keep this light hidden under a basket where no one can see its beauty. The world is filled with thousands of my children who are currently sitting in the dark wilderness. They are killing themselves with stress, and they are quietly crying into their pillows without any hope. They need to hear my voice. They need to know that they are not abandoned. I am calling you to be my helper. Take a decisive step of obedience right now to spread this holy message to the ends of the earth. Like this video to anchor your digital agreement with the covenants of heaven. Share this message with exactly 3 souls who are secretly crying out for hope in your immediate circle. Walk forward in your destiny. When you send this light to them, you are fulfilling your magnificent destiny as a light bearer. You are actively helping another weary warrior find their way back home to my presence. Do not let the enemy convince you that your small share does not matter. Subscribe to this channel right now and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss my guidance. I am releasing fresh manna for your spirit every single day in this quiet space, and I do not want your soul to wander back into the desert of worldly noise. Stay connected to the pure stream of my voice, because it is your daily bread of life. Write your honest thoughts in the comment section below, even if you do not have the perfect words. I read every single line, and I count your heart. Go forward into your days with a completely light heart and a relaxed body, my beloved child. Remember that you did not arrive at this intersection by accident or by a twist of luck. The road was long, and the valley was dark, but the destination is more beautiful than your grandest dreams. I am walking beside your steps in every single moment of your future. I am managing the outcomes while you rest in my grace. I will never leave your side. I will never forsake your soul. You are mine forever. Peace be with you. Amen.